Beautiful humans, this is your monthly manifestation insights, and it goes beyond even just things that will support you, breakthroughs, insights, light bulb moments that will be supportive in your journey in this now and beyond. To really, it sounds so cheesy, but to manifest your best life. And why that sounds cheesy is because people who don't even fathom that that can be a realm or a possibility are like, okay. But actually, why would we come to this earth to not live our best life and live a life for ourselves? And I've really started to open up a connection and channel to insights and breakthroughs and downloads that support in living our best life. These insights are not just for me, they're for you. And each time it comes, I record it in my phone notes, and I am called to share a lot of them with you. So let's start with number one. This insight came through, which if you connect at all to when people are like, I'm what my bloodline has been waiting for. I'm the one that my bloodline has been waiting for. I've seen that go around on Instagram. And if you resonate with like you chose your bloodlines, at one point I remember hearing you chose your parents and I was like, no way would I have chosen my parents. I wanted to be loved, and I wanted that perfect family with the dad and the mom that wanted to spend time with you and take you to all your activities and love you, and just that's what I really desired and wanted. And my parents were doing the best that they could when I was younger with the resources that they had, the bandwidth and capacity they had, and little, as to say it in the least nice words, I didn't have that childhood that I desired. So to hear that we choose our parents, it actually kind of made me a bit angry. I was like, I would have never chosen my parents. Now at this time in my life where I am at, I have a beautiful relationship with my mother, so I wouldn't think that now. But when I heard that, I was probably like early 20s, 19, 18, and I didn't have a very good relationship with either of my parents. So that statement did not connect with. But now, with really shifting, first of all, I do believe that now, because a breakthrough that was gifted to me from one of my mentors I look up to and integrate a lot of his work, Steve Nobel. Shout out to the Soul Matrix. If you haven't listened to him and you resonate with being a starseed, a light worker, definitely check out his YouTube channel, his transmissions. They are next level. And he shared with light goes where it's the most dark. And when I heard that about light souls, workers going to dark bloodlines, it just made so much sense. And dark doesn't need to mean what dark can mean out there. It's very subjective, right? But I really resonated with my light soul, full of just this big heart of love and just bubbly brightness, choosing a bloodline that was very like power exerting, and then a bloodline that was loving and nurturing and kind and caring, but powerless. And that could be labeled the dark bloodline. And coming to shift that. As I now before would be like, well, I don't want to be anything like either of my bloodlines, I now see that we can anchor in strength from both of our bloodlines. No matter how dark or how much you don't resonate with them, I can see that on my one bloodline, I can take that powerful energy and smart business skills, merge it with my other bloodline that is loving, kind, and caring, and I get to be the bridge for the bloodline to merge the strength of both of the two into a new trajectory for those bloodlines. And that has shifted so much for me of not like despising my bloodline, not being angry with them, because there is still strength and greatness from both of them, and I get to be that bridge. So offering you that insight as well. Maybe it's the first time you ever heard of light souls, where you're very light and bright and you choose darker bloodlines. I encounter a lot of clients who they're so light and they're so bright, and the bloodlines they go into are quite dark, and it's a very tumultuous childhood, which of course has the after effects in adulthood. And then we can just be so confused, like, why didn't I get that love? Why didn't I get that care? Why weren't my needs met when I was younger? Because we're so light, and that's what we're full of, just this love overpouring from us. And when we don't get that matched, we start to really take that on as something is wrong and not okay with us. But I also truly start to see that because light souls go to these more heavy, dense, darker bloodlines, it's because, I don't want to take away how hard your journey has been, but it really is the strong souls that go there, that shine the brightest to go to the darkest. So I hope that actually encourages you and gives you comfort and validation of, if you never felt connected to your family. I've always felt like I'm the rainbow sheep of my family, not the black sheep. I'm the rainbow sheep of my family. And now having that acceptance for both bloodlines, and also I've just cultivated a really strong relationship energetically, emotionally with my bloodlines to be that bridge and bringing in the greatness of both sides and clearing the rest that has to go. Okay, so a lot to feel with in that first insight. The second insight, I really, really like this one. So I'm calling it the I'm young inner child playful portal. So this happened when I was out for dinner with a girl I was meeting for the first time. I was with my boyfriend at the time, and it was his friends, and she was 28, and she was saying, if I want to do something, I'll pull the I'm young card. And I loved that, because what is young? Again, this is very subjective. This is relative. 60 is young to an 85-year-old. I remember when I was 15 and I thought 21 was old. Young, you get to claim it. You get to self-appoint. I'm young, and play that card, because we get to certain ages where it's like, well, we can't play anymore. We lose that playful curiosity energy, that exploration energy, that I can fall down and make mistakes because I'm young. But it doesn't have to end at an age where it's almost like we lose so much of our essence. Why would we turn that part of ourselves off? And I'm not saying to be childlike, I'm saying to be playful and to continue to do the things that you want to enjoy to do. And it adds that fun little energy that I want to do this. I'm young. So if she wanted to go out, she'd be like, I'm young, let's go out. If she wanted to go anywhere, she'd say, I'm young. And just play the I'm young card. So you best believe I'm gifting myself the I'm young card as well. And I'm in my 30s now, and so if I want to go to a trampoline park, I'm gonna go I'm young. If I want to go on a patio with my girlfriends at 3:30, I want to go I'm young. If I want to start a podcast, which girl is I'm doing it. I'm young. I can try new things and I can figure things out. I can figure things out and explore till I'm 99 if I want, because I'm young. I just love that. So take that playful card. It's like a portal opening that gives you permission to engage in activities and new things in your life that you might not have given because I should have everything figured out by now, and society's timeline is saying you should be here and do this at a certain age. It's like, no, I'm young. I can do what I want. Oh, I really, really love that. Ooh, this is a really good one as well. So this is supportive for mental health and manifesting, as those are my two favorite topics. They're huge and powerful on their own, but I definitely see the connections of the two. So this one is super supportive for that. So how we create a meaningful life, right? We think it's the things that create meaning in our life, like the things, the people, of course, support in a meaningful life, but really you create the meaning of your life. What do I mean by that? You really are the bridge of your inner and outer world. So you can see your external world, your outer world. You can see everything that you don't have. And by seeing everything you don't have, the meaning of your life is not good enough, I'm not good enough, lack of appreciation, lack of gratitude, in scarcity, in fear, because I don't have this, I don't have that, especially if we have desires, and instead of allowing our heart's desires to fuel us and be powerful, they become our demise because we don't yet have them. This is where you're creating the meaning of your life as not good enough. So how can you actually go through life that creates a beautiful meaning for you? And this is where I've really connected that my truths, I don't even call them beliefs anymore, because it's just so in my heart and soul that I live by. Everything is working out for me in my highest favor. That shapes so much meaning for my life. So if there is a challenge that life gifts me, keyword gifts me, I'm gifted this challenge for a reason. Oh my gosh, I'm not even recording on my one microphone. It's fine, the show must go on, let's continue. And if life gifts me a challenge, maybe in the moment, I am not going to.
Recording in progress.
Well, now here you heard that. I am not going to see what the gift is because I'm knee deep in a freaking battle here and life challenge, and it's like, but when I can come back to, if everything is happening for me, for my highest favor, and sometimes I throw on highest timeline, what could be the lessons, the wisdoms, the insights here? Because another powerful thing here is we're gonna learn through contrast and validation. Shout out to Melanie Ann Layer. She is really teaching me this in a powerful, potent mentorship container that I'm in with her. And that just unlocked even more truth within me, because when we make a mistake, mess things up, quote unquote, bad things happen, that's contrast. That's us learning and growing through contrast. When we learn and grow and expand and experience life through validation, where things work out great, it was the perfect outcome even beyond that, that's wonderful, of course, but are we always going to learn through validation? Are we always going to experience only life situations through validation? No, we're going to through contrast and validation. So because everything is working out for my highest timeline and highest favor, even when through contrast I learn and grow, I trust that is the way I was meant to learn the lesson, experience the wisdom, what I went through. So for example, when I went through a very tumultuous business partnership breakup that I can speak now with not a lot of pain, but when I was growing through that, and thank goodness, because that's been about 3.5 years. But when I was growing through it, it was so freaking hard. And the thing that kept me going through day by day, getting back up, getting out of bed, yes, it was really freaking hard to get out of bed, was first it takes a village. I had a whole team that I was working with. From my mom's love, I went to be with her in the sunshine in Florida, from having an RTT therapist and doing EMDR for CPTSD, and support of my friends. Like, I did have a village supporting me, but also I had to do my part. And at some points I literally could only rely on the village. And then when I started to connect to myself, my beliefs, my truths really kept me going. And when I could look, okay, if this was happening for my highest favor, what are the lessons and the wisdoms from this? I could actually pull out what I learned. From contrast, this was a failed business partnership, a failed business on my end in the sense of tons of money lost, a community I built for many years, nothing to show for it. So it was a rock bottom moment in my life, and I could still find lessons and wisdoms from it. How not to do business, how to get lawyers and contracts involved when you're going into business, how to understand all parts of your business so when you do have a team or people working with you for you, you understand what they would be doing, not be doing. I learned a lot through contrast, and that was the way my soul, the universe, wanted to guide me through it. The aftermath, what created meaning, so it wasn't just a terrible, negative, rock bottom moment in my life, is seeing the meaning, creating the meaning with the lessons, wisdoms, and insights that came through from that experience. So if you are experiencing a challenge, or you did, whether that be from a relationship or an experience, can you sit with yourself and extract the lessons and the wisdoms, insights, and create a meaning that if this was meant to happen for your highest favor, what could have it been? And when we learn through contrast, that's sometimes how we get those lessons, wisdoms, and insights. Okay. So the next one. Ooh, I really, really like this channeled insight that I've received about connection versus attachment. And when Buddha said attachment is the root of all suffering, and even expectation is the root of all suffering. Attachment and expectation are very similar, right? You're attached to what you expect the outcome to be. You're attached to what you expect this person to say, this person to do. You're attached and expect how you want your manifestations to come. How, when, all of the things to control and expectations, attachment, they're all tangled up into one icky mess. Instead of feel into the vibration of connection. So we want to remain connected to our heart's desires, connected in our relationships, connected, because I feel like that was just such an incomplete sentence, that attachment is the root of all suffering. Okay, well, what's next? Then what? So the then what is connection. It's just a clearer, more clean vibration, right? Like, I'm not attached to my mother to the hip. I'm connected to her. And that connection allows for, if she misses a call of mine, not to be mad at me, like, what the heck, where are you? Why didn't you answer my call? Connection, even in the sense of manifesting, connected to my heart's desires, but not attached or putting expectations on when it's going to come and how it's going to look. So for example, I was really connected to impacting and supporting people in a deep, meaningful way. And at first, that was through my business in a yoga and spin and fitness studio, and in my classes, really speaking from my heart and sharing powerful, impactful messages during movement classes and exercise. And if I would have remained attached, which I did remain attached, I should have ended and moved on from that experience like a year before it shattered and crumbled, because I was so attached to it working, this is what I'm doing, versus connected, that my desires of making impact in the world and really allowing my vocation to lead me and guide me, like connected to this desire, that would have saved the rock bottom moment from happening. And I don't regret the rock bottom moment because, and it wasn't just a moment, it was a long time. And I don't regret it because of what I learned from that contrast and how I could actually see that divine intervention did step in. And I don't know about you, but if you have a divine intervention story, please share it, because I feel like that's so powerful for others to see and know that we're not alone in this. And my human self, Maegan, that was so attached to that business and relationship and community that wouldn't move and end it, even though in my heart I knew I had to, the universe stepped in and made the other business partner end it. But before that, the universe guided me to my life's work now as an RTT and clinical hypnotherapist, and I got gifted this way of supporting and impacting people in the most aligned way that allowed me, when this business partnership ended, to actually move into full time. So it was really beautiful to see divine intervention play out there, and then as well as connected to the desire, and when we remain attached, what can happen. But if we allow the universe to move us, it will move us. I don't recommend waiting till you get to the point where the universe has to intervene and come in, because it just is a lot of healing and the comeback and the bounce back from that versus just going on your own. I wanted to share that though, so you could start to understand and see the difference between being connected and attached. So this is for relationships, to your manifestations, to literally anything in your life, right? Like if you have a child, you're connected to being their parents and gifting them an incredible life, but you're not attached to how that looks by, well, you want them to play piano, but they want to play guitar. If you're so attached to them playing piano, that's not a great experience for your child, right? So you can see the difference of connection and attachment in many different ways, scenarios, situations, and also when others are attached to you, we do not like those stage 5 clingers. It's not a fun energy. It's not a good energy. So it's not just with people, it's with other things in your life as well. So if you have a desire for money, you have a desire for work and career, but you're attached to how the money must come in, you're attached to it has to be this job, unless you're connected, notice where you're not connected and where you're attached, and how you can start to clear that up and shift that around so that it's pure connection. I really like this next insight, and I'm going to give you a visual so that you can understand exactly what I mean. Did you see that parkour? It was pretty epic. Okay, so levels of self. I really channeled this insight, and then it was really cool because a few other voices that I tune into and listen to as well explained it in their own way, but in a very similar way. So we're obviously connected to the same channel, which is super cool because I definitely do look up to them. So to be on the level of Pilar Lesko, Feel Good, not to put them on a pedestal because equal power but different, but to be channeling very similar concepts, I was like, oh, this is dope. Any hoodle. So levels of self, like a game. Think of Mario Kart here. So on level 1, there's different challenges, there's different gifts, there's different things to overcome, right? Like the coins to pop up and get. You have to avoid this speed bump, or you have to go through this way, right? So every level of the game, you're going to experience different challenges, different gifts, and different things that will make you fine-tune your skills, getting better and faster, and learning different parts of the game, right? So it's like the same thing in life and yourself. So you have different levels of yourself, right? Like when you were a baby, the challenge was learning how to eat. The gift was being cared for, being fed, being held, being rocked to sleep. Learning how to crawl, then to walk, right? So we continue to hit up onto new levels of ourself. At each level, there's gonna be new fears you bump into, new challenges, new gifts, new levels of yourself that in conjunction with your external world, there will be different gifts, different people on that level. So if you feel like, wow, I've gone to this level and I don't align to certain people anymore, that really happens when we do grow through a spiritual awakening, when we do work on ourselves, because at this level of self, you aren't into the drinking and the partying like you used to be, for an example. So if all your friends have remained on that level, you're not going to be as interested in spending time with them as you once were, because now you're on a different level where you enjoy reading, going to yoga, going to the gym, doing cold dips. I'm talking about so many like new age things, but for example, for my level of self that I'm on, I enjoy my alone time. And before, I could not be alone. I max my schedule out with work. I max my schedule out with social outings. I was busy. And now that I'm on this level of self-awareness where I'm like, oh, actually, I feel depleted when I'm around too many people for too long. And I'm a social gal, but I have a self-awareness that I've never had experienced before, that now I'm so in tune when I want to hermit and recharge on my own or one-on-one people I can feel really recharged in, and then in groups not so much. So at this level of self, that's where I'm at. So I'm not as aligned with doing as much group events as I used to be. And on this level of self and of fear, right? I thought, oh, at one point, like I've been in this world, in this work, mental health and manifesting. Mom taught me about it when I was 15, and I went to university, Bachelor of Health Sciences, when I was 17. So I've been in this world, in this work. Gonna age myself here. No, I don't look a day over 25, but for 16 years, I've been in this world. So where was I going with that? Oh yeah. So I feel like at one point when I was on this level of self, so this level of consciousness, where not experienced up here yet, where I thought at one point I would never experience fear again. I would never experience challenges. I would get to a point in my life there would be no fears, no challenges. Do you think this? Was I just the only wild out one to think this? But what I've really come to understand is, no, at each level, you're meant to have the different challenges. You're meant to have them because that's how you get to the next level. Think of Mario Kart. Think of Mario Kart. You have to beat that level to gain the skills and the strength and ability to go to the next level. And it's not that because you have another fear or challenge that you have to restart the level, meaning you're going backwards, because sometimes people think like, oh, I'm going backwards. You're not going backwards. You're not going backwards in your healing journey. You're not going backwards in your self-growth. You're just restarting the level, and that's okay. You're not going down. You're just restarting that level. So really, this levels of self, it has cleared and supported me so much, because when I get and bump into a fear, I'm just like, ooh, this is fun. No, it's not fun at the beginning, but just to connect to a different part of me that I haven't before because it wasn't even on that level. And it can be fun. Ooh, okay, this next one's really powerful as well. Choke holding. This is another layer of the attachment. When we're attached to how we expect or want things to come in, choke holding a stream. So I talked about this actually in my unexpected money program master code. I actually channeled for free a very, very potent offering, and I'm honoring that it was meant to be put out into the world for free. So if it's still available and free, I will have that available for you if you're like, ooh, unexpected money. That sounds like a vibe I want to get on. And in that program, that master code, I really connected to, if you're choke holding, money can only come from work, which is mostly the one way we think money can come in. You're choke holding that stream to come in that way. So that's the path of least resistance. Money's only going to come in that way, versus being connected to the desire of, what is your desire? Is it luxury? What is your desire? Is it more than enough? What is your desire? Is it having anything that you want? What is your desire that is connected to money? Remaining in that connection and allowing it to flow in the way it's meant to flow in. So it might come through somebody else. It might come through a gift. It might come through unexpected money. It might come through any other way that if you energetically and subconsciously expand and open your field up, your mind up to how the desire is going to come in, it will come in so much quicker, so much faster than if you're choke holding it through attachment, expectation. It can only come in this one way. So even I was doing this, for example, before I was doing this with money and work, and then cleared that. I was like, no. Money gets to come in from expected and unexpected sources. And I have manifested, attracted, allowed money from many different unexpected sources. I actually share in that program how it came through. I was connected to the desire, was not attached to how it came. And it's been over 6 figures when I added it up in the last 11 years. You heard me right. 6 figures I allowed and attracted, not generated. I did not do anything for this unexpected money. It came through because I didn't chokehold money to come through one way. So I also was doing this with clients. So the work that I do with soul aligned clients, I was choke holding that they're only going to come through social media, when actually the universe was playing a fun little thing with me. All my last clients have come through referrals or Google. Not even social media, where I was getting so attached that I have to post and I have to create, and not being in the energetic vibe of it is like, what's the point of doing that? But we hear this like hustle and push of like posting every day. And at one point I was posting 3 times a day on TikTok, and it just became such a unhealthy, attached connect or relationship, versus the connection that I have now to podcasting and YouTube. What feels good is right now is a once a month YouTube video, as many reels that come through that I feel like just quick short snippets, and however many podcasts that month. There doesn't need to be this attachment that success or clients only come through this set amount of times. That's attachment. That's not connection. I'm connected to the desire of impacting many people. So I can trust that what feels good, and when I'm in the energetic vibes for creating and putting out there, is enough. That's connection versus attachment. Are we getting it? Okay, I'm gonna end it off with this. This one, has changed so much for me. My desires come to me unconditionally. And where this really birthed and came through, that sounds kind of funny, but that's creation, was I had a client who was saying, I have to be happy all the time or else my manifestations aren't going to come to me. And then another client being like, I feel like I'm just stopping manifestation because I'm not in a good mood all the time. And I was like, okay, there's a pattern here. And at one point, I thought that way too. But then I was like, that doesn't really leave a lot of room for the divine human experience. And we're meant to experience blah days, sad times, frustration and anger. And to try and bypass those emotions in our experience, it's not going to do us any good because we're going to suppress and push down emotions. They're going to be stored in our body, and then our body is going to be riddled with dis-ease. We'll feel it, we'll experience it, whether that will show up as symptoms, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, whether that show up as systems actually being affected in different ways. So this is what I've decided and anchored in. And I actually heard this too as well from Catherine Zankina, manifestation babe. She was saying money comes to me when I feel good. Money comes to me when I feel like beep. I don't know why I feel like I can't swear, but you know the word I was gonna say. And I was like, yes. So this all happened within like a day. Client saying that, her saying that unlocking. My desires come to me unconditionally. So no matter what you desire, unconditional. Success, no matter how many hours you work, you get to be successful. It gets to come to you unconditionally, right? If we put conditions for success, I have to work at least 80 hours, 100 hours a week for success. You just put conditions on success, and now it's not going to come to you unconditionally. So when you don't work, when you take time off, you're going to be like, and you won't enjoy taking time off. You will, when you're not working, won't be able to relax. You'll be thinking what you should be doing. Can you see how this affects you mentally, how this affects your mental health, and also how you're going to manifest things either in ease or conditionally? So anything you desire, whether it be love, right? So some people are put conditions on love. I'll only be loved if I'm this way, I look this way, I'm this age. You just put conditions on yourself and on love. Love gets to come to me unconditionally. I'm loved unconditionally. Money gets to come to me unconditionally. Success, so any desire. Just notice where you've put conditions on. And this is actually making me think of the self-worth program that I also channeled. It's part of the mental health and manifesting series. That one is an investment. And if you're new to investing in yourself, I get that. It's like, what? Especially if you're in Canada, we have this weird, anywhere you have free healthcare, we get this distorted relationship with investing in ourselves. If it's not free or covered, I don't want it. It's like a conditioned program, no. And that isn't always the greatest case to go to where it's free, because is that in alignment with what you actually need, desire, and want? Because you know what, your time and your energy, that's limited resources, whereas we think that money is limited, so we're not going to use that resource. When if you go and partake in things that are free that aren't even supportive in your journey, you've just wasted that time and that energy. And it's like, I get that, because that was me too. I'd be like, no, can't have that, can't do that. Wouldn't even be an option. But the thing is, when we put conditions on ourselves, we block different types of flow, different types of areas we were meant to go in and to explore. So you're worthy unconditionally. You're putting conditions even on your intuition. You're intuitively guided somewhere, but it's not covered or it's not free in the conventional health system, and you're unconventional. It's not lining up. So this self-worth, it is an investment. It is far worth more than the price that I put at it, but I trust the prices, the price alchemy, the number alchemy that comes through with it. And in this self-worth program, I really dive deeper in this concept of conditions, placing conditions on your worth, what you're worthy of to have, to hold, to experience, and to do that deep dive to see where you've put those conditions and attachments, the very things that you desire, where that's rooted from, where that's come from. And if you've never experienced RTT or clinical hypnotherapy, this is a great program to experience that life-changing process. And I don't say life-changing like a cheesy, hollow word, because when you move the needle and just shift it, even a degree, your life trajectory has shifted completely. When do we ever look at this within ourselves where, oh yeah, actually, I did put conditions on myself for success, for love, for money, for the very things that you desire. And this is where the mental health and manifesting are connected, because you have desires in your heart to have, to manifest in this life experience, but in your mind, you are not aligned with it. You place conditions and attachments, and you don't even look at those, contemplate those, see those, and then you're wondering, why don't I have that very thing? Why do I feel like there's no one good and no one's gonna love me? Why do I not feel lovable? And you have all these questions, or you don't question the questions. This program will be super supportive for you, and I'd love to go even deeper with you on that, because this is the truth about you. Last thing. This is why I have programs, because I just can go on and on to support these insights to go in deeper and deeper, right? It's not just this surface level, like girl likes to go deep. You are extraordinary. You were born extraordinary, and the world chipped away at your extra. So now you're ordinary. Okay? It's ordinary to have mental health struggles. That's the largest statistic of having mental health struggles, right? And part of this is the conditions we've placed. If we've placed conditions on our lovability and conditions on our success, and that's a big heart's desire, and it's not lining up to your mind, of course you're gonna feel low and down, because it's not in your life yet. And that's the meaning you've put on life, that my life is meaningless unless I have this in my life and this desire. And everything essentially I've talked about, it's ordinary to have a meaningless life, to go through the motions of life. It's ordinary to not have self-worth. It's ordinary to experience all that. And what my mission is to support you coming back to your internal essence, your truth, which is extraordinary. Your difference, your uniqueness, your gifts, your worthiness, everything that the world chips away at that we might think like, meh, it's whatever. It's not whatever. Let's choose to be extraordinary, and I'd be so freaking honored to be a part of your journey. So if you'd like to delve deeper with me, you know where to find me. Maybe you don't. Maegan Aleece everywhere. MeganAleece.com, Maegan Aleece on Instagram. Name spelled super weird. Thanks, Mom. Most common name, but very weird. It's MaeganAleece. Everywhere if you want to stay connected in my world and stay connected to people who are speaking differently than the societal narrative. If you want to lead and live your life unique to you, which is different, most likely, than what society is pushing out and saying. So stay plugged in, my friends. Lots of love. Till next time.